Hi guys, so we've got here 1 Mat A assignment with the GeoGebra Tasks dynamic parabolas. Here's the introduction, I don't need to read that to you. We're just going to jump straight into opening GeoGebra and giving the tasks a go. So, this is my GeoGebra icon. All you need to do is double click on that. Hopefully you've got it on your computer. So if I double click on that, let's see what happens. It brings up that. Great. I'm going to go to Algebra and Graphics View. Okay, and I'm just going to resize this quickly, because it's not showing it very well. Now, task 1 was to add a grid, and it gave an instruction on how to do it going through the menu at the top, but I'm going to show you a quick way. You just click on this little arrow, and there's a little option here for grid, and boom, we've got a grid just like that, nice and easy. So that's step 1. Step 2 is we're going to add a little title just to explain what we're doing. So we go up to the Insert Text button, we click on that, and we choose where we want to put our text. So I'm going to put it right here, and very quickly I'm going to type in the equation y equals a times x to the power, we use the caret top, of 2 plus b asterisk or times x plus c, and then explained dynamically, and dynamically basically means with a visual movement. So if something's dynamic, it's moving around, by Mr. Little, because that's my name. You of course put your peers' names. I go OK, and there it is. It's brought it up as a text box. It's a bit small. I'm going to right click on it, go to Object Properties, and I'm going to go to Text. Instead of having small text, I'm going to have medium, and I'm boldified as well. There we go. It's looking a bit nicer, a bit easier to read. Close that, and great. So that's my first 3 tasks. Let's just go back to the task sheet. I've opened it, I've added a grid, and I've added a title with my name. I'm now going to do something that most of you won't have done. I'm going to add a slider, and we're going to set some slider settings. Okay, let me just scroll down so you can see that. There we go. We're going to add a slider, and we're going to set some settings. So let's do that. Basically, to add a slider, we click on the slider button. It's that easy. We work out where we want it. If you've clicked this little arrow down, I really recommend you do. You can quite easily, before you add your slider, change the color that you want it to be and the thickness of it, and also its design. But I'll just stick with full design there. And we're going to click on here. Yep, automatically this window comes up. Now in the instructions it asked me to change it to the minimum of -7, the maximum of 7, keep the increments at 0.1. And it also asked me to change the slider width. So instead of having a 100 pixel slider, I'm going to do a 400 pixel. And we'll go apply, and boom, there it is, it's brought it up. I'll just drag that across over here a little bit so I can see it on the screen. And what we've got here is a slider. If I drag this number, you'll see the value changes. So it starts at 1, but it goes all the way down to, as we said, -7, all the way up to +7. Pretty straightforward. Okay, I'm now going to add another slider, as it says in the instructions, and this time we'll call it B. Same idea. I'm going to have -7, 7, increment of 0.1, slider 400, apply, and we'll just drag that across so you can see it a bit better. Great, and one third one, A, B, and we want C. Let's have a dark purple, no, go indigo I think it is. And yeah, it's automatically called C. We'll change it to -7 and +7, and then the slider will change to, again, 400 instead of 100 pixels. Nice wide sliders. Okay, and for some reason it's page. There we go. So what we've got here are 3 sliders, and at the moment they're not doing much except allowing you to change the value of your A, or change the value of your B, or change the value of your C. Okay, so we're up to, in the task sheet, we're up to this idea here. We've added the 2 more sliders with the same settings but labeled them B and C. We've done that quite quickly. We've got now 3 sliders. Now this is the cool thing. We can now go down to the input bar and put in our equation, our generalized quadratic equation, making sure that we do set it out like this, and we're using the terms A for our x squared terms coefficient, B for our x term, or x to the power of 1 term coefficient, and C for our constant. Alright, so we'll just go and do that. So I'm just coming down here, if you can see down in the bottom left hand corner, we click on there and we just type it in. Y equals A, so to the times x to the power of, and for power of, remember it's just shift and 6, okay, and we want to the power of 2, plus b, whatever that's going to be, times x, nice and easy, and then plus c, the constant. I just press enter, and look at this. This parabola has appeared, and already it's automatically taken the values of our a and our b and our c from our sliders. So it's pretty clever. It's helping us out here. Let me just move this down a little bit. I just want to see, yeah. See how I move the background and the sliders don't move with me? There's just one little quick fix. If you right click on the thing and it's got here absolute position on screen, if we click that and we click that and we click that, and that should, yeah, see how that's moved it with the words now, so that's quite helpful. So what I'm asking you to do next is, says play with the sliders to see what different values A, B and C will give. I've kind of already done that. And it says this is the cool thing, right click on the sliders and turn animation on to watch the graph change shape. So this is really where the learning's at. If I go to my A, now remember A is our number here, so this is going to change the value between -7 and 7 for this value, this coefficient of our x squared term. So if I right click on here, and I've got animation on, if I turn that on, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's automatically oscillating, it's going up to +7, and then it should come, yep, it's coming back. And as we see, as the coefficient is between, well, it goes from, well, no, we're going down, but from 0 down to negative, it's going to be -7. You can see how the curve gets kind of squashed, gets a steeper curve. Here it comes back up, it's going up through 0. When it's at 0, of course, you've got a straight line, and then it goes on right up. And this, you know, this could go on forever and ever. We could have higher values, and the higher the number gets, just the steeper it's going to get. But of course, being a parabola, it will never turn back on itself. It's always going to have that idea of going on. Okay, so that's that one dynamically. If I just stop the animation there, and what we'll do is we'll just bring that over a little bit. Click on, and if you're just having trouble moving the sliders, you need to have it on this little arrow here. So grab that little arrow, and let's just move that over back to well, we'll put it to 1, because that's our, we normally have that good old invisible 1. You can also input it over here, I think. So if you double click on here, you can type in, if I wanted to change it to 2, and go enter, and you see how it moved the slider to 2, and that made it a bit steeper. Okay, now let's go to B. Let's see what happens when we move B. Now remember, B is this term in here, this coefficient that's affecting the x term. And as I move that forward and back, you can see it's basically it's affecting where the parabola cuts through. The main thing to notice is that it's still cutting through. If that hasn't changed, the A hasn't changed and the constant hasn't changed, it's cutting through the y-axis at the same point. However, it does move. Like that point is being given from different values. Okay, so it goes on to different values, and yeah, it's moving around. It's a bit tricky to explain in the expanded form what the B coefficient is doing. It's much easier to see when you've got it in factorized form, but just know that it is moving it, so it is going to take it away from the y-axis. Okay, and we're all pretty familiar. If I just put that back to 0, we're all pretty familiar now with what the c does, the constant. As that changes, it changes our y-intercept through the origin. Okay, so even if I've got it to the side a bit, if I move this up and down, it's only affecting the idea of it being transformed vertically. And yeah. Let me just put it down to -1. So we've got an inverted parabola, and let's just notice it's the same trick, isn't it? It's still cutting through the y-axis at whatever that constant is, and that's because, remember, the y-axis is where x equals 0. So we're effectively, if we put 0 in for our x's, we've got a times 0 squared, which is still 0, plus b times 0, which is still 0. So we're only left with the constant, and that's why that explains the y-intercept. Alright, the last little step is for you to go ahead in your pair and open a textbook and explain what's happening for each letter. And I've kind of explained in this video, so hopefully that'll help. But also, you will need to give precise examples and references and reference equations you've found. So pick some equations and talk about how they change. Great, I'd love your feedback. Thanks for watching.